Hey, today we're picking up where we left off in our battle against embarrassment, lack of articulacy, lack of self-conscious, lack of self-esteem, and just, a whole flurry of these other things. But before we get into that, because I know you're into self-improvement, you wouldn't have clicked on this channel if you didn't at least have a seed of ambition. So let's first, take a deep breath, communal breath together. Relax a bit from that dopamine that we've been just bombarded with while scrolling through our phones. And you might you might have noticed in that breath that you just took, because I just thought about it as well. Was that a good breath or a bad breath? So, as part of the Words and Wisdom series that I'm doing, to increase our articulacy and increase the high value skills that we have, the word of this week for the Words and Wisdom series is nuance, and it lives between that good and bad. It's in the gray area. So, there's way too much about this word to talk about in one video. I'm going to be doing a series of videos, as I do for each of the words that we're going to be going through. The last week's word was sovereignty, and this week we're going to be going over nuance. I think it's a super important word. Not only did it get more votes than the other words that I posted on the poll across Twitter and YouTube, but I think it's super important to establish that we do not want to sound cringe. We want to sound articulate. That does not mean using every word that we've learned under the sun at all times. Then you sound like, for example, I saw a video of Kamala Harris. It's like she just recently learned the word holistic, and she went on to use that word like 4 or 5 times within the span of like 1 minute, and that shows a lack of nuance. And she could have solved that maybe if she had practiced using the word a little bit more, learned a little bit more about the word's origins, how to use the word. So for the word of this week, nuance, we're going to learn that, I'm telling you right now, it's from the Latin nubis, which means like in the clouds, and it evolved to nuer. It's a French word, and that means to shade something. And I guess that makes sense with it being like a gray area kind of topic. And now it's what we use today as nuance. And it's a super important concept to know, especially if you want to actually succeed in this world. Because you might want to think of things in terms of black and white. I do this, so this should happen. But that's never the case. The world is much more complex than that. There's more variables to go into everything than you know. One example that I recently went through with my daughter was the difference between will and try. So whenever you use, it might be considered like a weak word, try, you come across as weak, and like you will not deliver what you're saying you will. And that is a nuanced way. If someone understands the nuance there, they will pick up on it and immediately discount you. So for example, if I'm giving an update at work and I want to state that I will deliver something, I'm going to say, I will work on this. I am going to do this by a certain time. I'm not going to say I will try to do this, because that immediately, I don't know how the manager feels, but I know how I feel when I say that. I know that when I say I'm going to try to do this, that it's probably not going to happen. And I've seen it time and time again. Whenever someone says that they will try to complete something, they will not, they most of the time will not complete it. It's just, they have not committed to it. So, for example, I did not want to make this video today, but I said in a previous video that I will make a video at least every couple days. I gave myself some buffer there, but in order to build that credibility with myself, like I've been talking about in preaching, we need to build credibility with ourselves. And that's not an area where there's much nuance. You either have credibility with yourself or you do not. So if I make a video every day, not only am I over-delivering for myself, but I am building that trust with myself that I can do something every single day. And yeah, there's a lot to unpack here with this word. I'm really excited about this week's word, nuance. So hopefully you like this kind of content. You want to improve your life. You want to have high-value skills for the next era in this economy where we don't really know where things are going. But the skill of articulacy, the skill of being able to communicate clearly, express yourself clearly with another human being is always going to be in demand, in my opinion. So if you like this kind of content, feel free to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.